Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me once again for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I am Yvonne. How's it going? Listen, before we get started, I want to make sure to ask, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I think it's super important to check in with friends, family, acquaintances, just anybody, because people just need to know that they matter and that they have somebody that they can talk to and share with. So I just want to make sure to throw that out there. Just want to make sure you know you are cared about, and I hope you're finding these videos helpful. Thank you so much. So, what's been going on with me? What am I reading about? So, knowing everybody has challenges, everybody has struggles, normally I share a little tidbit from my own life. Now, not a whole lot is going on, a wee bit of regret. I'll be honest with you, and I'll share why that is here in a minute because the story that I saw a little bit of me in it, and you may find the same thing too. Okay, so a young woman was writing in. She and her husband had their son they were both about 27 years old, right? So at 31, she was looking for, and I don't know why, pre-K classes, right? And apparently she talked to her family about it, and I don't know how much this school was going to cost, but they were asking her, why are you spending that kind of money on a pre-K program for your young one? So again, I don't have children. I'm merely asking questions, just kind of throwing things out there. And her response was she didn't care if she had to work till she was dead. She wanted to make sure that her child had every advantage. And the reason why she said it like that is because she apparently cleaned out her 401k to be able to afford this school. So, okay. And young people do things without really fully appreciating the consequences of it. So, one thing I just kind of want to bring up is a story I was reading about in the AARP newsletter. And it was about a couple. They're now 60 and 70 years old, but they had to quit working when they were 50 and 60. Okay. So when the young woman said that she would just be working till she dropped, sometimes you don't have a choice, okay, of when it is that you retire because life throws a curve. There are health issues, just any number of things that you need to be ready for, that you need to be aware of and to plan for, okay? These people had never planned to retire so early. The lady of the house, she had some health issues and she was finally forced to quit working at 50, okay? And her husband kept struggling, because they were a two income family. And without hers, and he had his own business and he's worried about her, and all the stress of that situation caused him to have a heart attack. Okay, so here you have two relatively young people who are now not able to work. Okay, and that's what we mean. You don't know what's coming down the pike, and you have to be prepared for any possibility. Okay, so just something to think about. So they had to declare, this couple had to declare bankruptcy. Here they are at 60 and 70 years of age. They've lost their house. He lost his business. And finally, they were able to pay off most of their bills. They're now in a two-bedroom apartment and feeling extremely lucky. Okay. They, between Social Security and Medicaid, because they have both of those, they're able to maintain. Now, it's not an extravagant life by any stretch of the imagination. They're worried because of possible changes with Medicaid or Medicare. So they're really worried about that. But just keep those things in mind, okay? You just don't know what's coming around the pike, all right? Keep that in mind. And then, when I said that everything's pretty much status quo with me, but there's a wee bit of regret. And it's part of why I do these videos, okay? Just the benefit of my experience. I just want to share things with people. Because when I was a bit younger, considerably younger, 20 plus years ago, I, I wouldn't say that I needed the money, but it was the easiest place to get cash from. And I took money from my 401k. And you always say, oh, you'll pay it back. And to my credit, I did up my contributions, but I failed to factor this in. Okay, so since I was not 59 and a half years old, there is going to be a penalty assessed by the IRS for taking that money out early. Okay, so that was one thing I had to pay for. And then also the withdrawal was taxed. So you had these two things. Now, I don't know how much I was looking for exactly. I'm not certain. But just for math's sake, just say I was taking out $40,000 and it cost me $50,000 then to do it. Now, I said, oh, I'd put money in. Yeah, I upped my contributions. Yes. But I think it's really important to understand the ramifications of taking money from your 401k, 403b alphabet soup, so whichever one you have, taking any money from that retirement account, I'm not going to say you should never do it because that's not for me to say, but think really long and really hard before you do that, because that $50,000 that I took out, I just kind of wondered not too long ago, if I had left it in over these past 21 years, how much might that have been worth? What might I have lost? And wow. So I just Googled it, my go-to thing, went to Google and said $50,000 lump sum contribution at 7%. Now I picked the 7% just to kind of be conservative, because the value of my portfolio has actually increased by more than that. Okay, dividends were higher than the 7% that I picked, but I just figured it was a good round number, so just do that. $50,000 lump sum, leave it alone for 21 years at the 7%. What would the value of that withdrawal be? And we talked on one of our earlier episodes about compounding interest, and I may do another one of those. But went to Google, put that information in, 50,000, 7%, leave it alone for 21 years. The interest compounded monthly. Okay, what would it be after 21 years? Take a quick guess. So what popped up? I went into Nerd Wallet. It was one of the areas that I could plot in those numbers and see exactly what the value of that money would have been. You guys, over $174,000. That was the value, the current value now of that $50,000 that I took out 21 years ago. So I lost quite a bit, right? By taking that money earlier than I should have. It's easy to say you have money in your retirement account. Let me use it. Let me borrow it. Let me whatever. And I would just say, look at other sources. Go down other avenues. See what else might be available for you, because you can't get that money back. And that's why it is so good when young people are out there contributing as early as possible, because they have the benefit of compounding interest. We all have that, but the younger you are, the more that money can compound, and the value of it is so much greater by the time that you need to use those funds. So just something to think about. Again, the benefit of my experience, because School of Hard Knocks graduate. So I just want to make sure to share those kinds of things with you and just make you aware. Just that's all this is just an awareness, because I wish someone had been out there saying these things to me years ago, so I would know what's coming, what to be aware of, what to think about. Get away from any small thinking, because this is my life, my retirement funds, and I'm not planning to live extravagantly. Okay, this isn't about, kicking up your heels when you hit 65, 70, whatever, and have all this money to spend. No, it just gives you choices. It gives me choices. It gives me an opportunity to just live my life, just be comfortable, have some money in savings in case anything, any emergencies pop up, just to be able to take care of myself and not be so dependent on other things, other people. So it's just all about having dignity in my retirement years. And so just something for you to think about, because you just never know, right? So with that, we are getting to the end of our time, and I just want to throw this out there. If you would like to subscribe to these, have them come directly to you, by all means, we just love to have you. And by subscribing, you have an opportunity. If you have questions, have comments, let me know, and we can address it during these sessions. That I would just love to have that opportunity to hear back from you occasionally. And if you would like to send these videos to other people, hey, by all means, it's free. We're just all about sharing and just letting people know. Okay, that, like I said, I wish that I had had this opportunity many years ago. I would be just so pleased. But I have it now. I can share with you what I know, and hopefully you're benefiting from this information. So I just have to tell you this. I went to Leanne Chin a few nights ago. One of those rare nights when let's just go out and grab something. Had a great meal. And usually I don't do too much with the fortune cookies. It's just not my thing, but I cracked it open. And this was my fortune, okay? Your courage will help others and soon will make you a leader. So let's hope this fortune is for all of us, okay? So with that, I thank you so very much for joining me. Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I am Yvonne. And until next time, okay, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.